Do you think within the Hearts dressing room they have a little bit more belief than you had?
No, not at this moment in time.
Fortunate enough to be part of a huge one in Glasgow, and we always speak about that. But the Edinburgh derbies is as fierce as they come.
But you're a Celtic man. You must have some intel.
No, I don't. I've got no friends.
Is this season the last dance for Brendan Rodgers, Tom Ford's?
But yeah, I think it'll be.
You going to dust the pro licence back down?
Listen, I'm available.
Guys, Edinburgh derby. The Hearts look like title challengers.
They've started like they have, but it's a long way to the finish line.
Come on, though. Give us a bit more than that. Natey, come on. I mean, come on.
Well, I think the start of this, I remember being part of a Hearts team that went 11 without getting beat, and you're up the top. But realistically, at that point, you're like, this isn't going to last to the end of the season.
Do you think that? Do you think within the Hearts dressing room they have a little bit more belief than you had back then?
No, not at this moment in time. Come Christmas, then yes. But the big difference is the signings. I think the quality of the signings, and it's not that they're blowing teams away, but just things like making the right choice of pass, when to try a through ball, when to keep possession. That's the biggest thing that I think this season.
Who's impressed you most?
The easy one's Braga, because he's an impact player. I think he thrives on that environment. The Brazilian they've brought in, even though it's been a 20-minute game at Livingston, he for me is a real deal. Mm-hmm. He's running off the ball. He runs into space. He's in awareness. I think a signing like that is something that I think can
after 20 minutes at Livingston, and I'm going to say he's a real deal. He's your player of this season.
No, he's not the player of the season, but he's a real deal. He's a statement signing.
See when you speak about Hearts, and I know we always look towards like Shankland getting back to form. The forward players and everything, but I think the signing of Stuart Finlay could be, a masterstroke. I mean, and obviously, he's shown over a period of time that Stuart Finlay's very good in this league. He defends properly, and that's where Hearts are right now. I think, they've conceded a few, but there's just that resilience about them, and that epitomises
they're
everything.
Finding ways to win games and get points that in the past they've not. But they've not been at full. I don't think they've been at full throttle.
Even Halkett as well. His form as well has
been really good.
Yeah,
but even getting back against Motherwell when they were 3-1
could have won it.
Yeah, and but finding a way, that's a big deal. And if you're a Hearts supporter, you're sort of looking at sort of Celtic and Rangers. What's happened at Rangers? Terrible start. Can they win the league from that position? Well, it's possible, but it's highly unlikely. Rangers, right? But if you're looking at Celtic, you're looking at do Celtic have that squad depth this season? Also, European football. Hearts out of the League Cup.
Yeah.
It's.
Do you think they're genuine title challengers?
Listen, I was one in the Aberdeen camp last season. You judge your team on the way that they are playing, and what also Hearts have in their favour.
I want to know that's right. Your experience as a player, coach, manager, pundit.
You never dismiss anybody else. You judge them with the form that they're on, and with the manager that Hearts have got, Derek McInnes. Nobody knows the Scottish League better than Derek. I think that's important. And then you've got January. Another window for Hearts to go again, but the fact that it's just the focus is going to be mainly on the league now for Hearts, and Celtic have European football to contend with, the League Cup and what have you. I think that gives Hearts, I'm not saying a massive advantage. I'd still make Celtic favourites, but that gives them a real opportunity.
It does in a way, but also like when you've got such a big squad that Hearts have got. And everybody wants to get minutes. When you're now knocked out of the League Cup, you've not got European football. You're then, when it goes week to week, sometimes you're getting that break as well. You've then got to factor in international breaks. There's a lot of breaks now. There's been a few breaks. There's a lot of breaks coming up for Hearts.
But they can't use fatigue.
Definitely not.
As an issue, and that's what we'll be saying about other clubs. Can they cope? Outside of Celtic and Rangers, every year we talk about how can Hearts compete in Europe with the strength of their squad or lack of strength. Aberdeen the same. Hibs. And that's always been an issue. They don't have that now. Tony Bloom has gone in. There's a feel-good factor. They've got off to a brilliant start, going to Ibrox, winning in the manner which they did.
is massive.
And the excitement, and then the unknown of January. If they're in and around Celtic, in the January window, will Tony bloom? Will he go? Will he go blooming big?
He definitely will.
And it gives him a chance. And as I say, I wasn't one. I would never have done it as a player. You've got to just focus on yourselves. But I would never dismiss any team who's in and around. Look what happened in the Premier League down south. Leicester winning the Premier League.
Yeah.
And Hibs, not in terms of results and that, it's been a bitty, but I was thinking about this before the show. In the last 4 or 5 years, Hibs are probably in the best position in terms of squad, unity, everyday collective. It's as good as it's been.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Hibs' point of view, obviously had a bad start last season and stood by David Gray, and they've reaped the benefits from that. There is no doubt that they overachieved from that period of, when it turned to the end of the season. The run they went on was unbelievable. And now, unfortunately for David Gray, his staff and the team, they're getting judged on that. The reality is it's going to be very difficult to continue that, winning games all the time, or you're up there challenging, Celtic, all season. That's not going to happen for Hibs. It's about them getting back to the level and showing that they are a good team. They are still creating opportunities. I do think they're a couple of players short in certain positions, especially the top end of the pitch. They tried to get Lyndon Dykes. There was rumours that were trying to get Stephen Fletcher back as well, which would be an interesting one because Fletcher sat here a few weeks ago.
They weren't rumours from Stephen.
No, he was trying. He was trying.
He was on the golf course.
But the Lyndon Dykes one for me, if they'd have got that one over the line, which we were led to believe is very close, I can't help but think that Hibs were in a far, far better place. I'm taking nothing away from Bowie. When you've not played football on a consistent basis for a long period of time, it's about building your minutes up. It's about, maybe coming in for 5 or 6 games, doing well, coming back out for 2 or 3, being challenged. Him and Boyle right now, they don't seem to be firing the way they were.
It's a big ask for Bowie to be the main man. As you said, he's not really played full season yet. I agree with you that he's going to have that. He's a young player. He's a goal threat.
23, isn't he? 23.
No,
now?
but in terms of first team football, that's different to being 23.
I agree.
I don't know whether I don't know whether I sort of buy that really, because at 23 you should be mature enough. You should be experienced enough.
No.
He's played enough games where I don't think I'm in a position where at 23 or looking at a 23-year-old where I start feeling sorry for them and think that he should be at a level now where he's performing
with expectation to be the number 9 when you've not how many appearances first team football has he played in his full career? I think that's a big ask to get that consistency.
I think we're still guilty of looking back in the past what were you 17, what were you 16, 17 when you made your debut? And 14.
But when did you become the main man
but that's
of a team with that expectation?
So, you go in, you come out, and then all of a sudden you might be.
No, I did. But and what
you were a special player.
But my point is, back then if you weren't playing first team football by 18, 19, 20-year-old, you were he's not good enough. Whereas now you're looking at it, there's players now you're still saying,
Phil Foden's an example.
Young boys at 22, 23-year-old. It's crazy how it has changed though.
What does he want to be? Where does he want to go? And I think at 23, and I understand your consistency argument, and I totally agree with that. But there's no reason for him not to be consistent. He's played enough games. He was at Northampton, wasn't he? For a period. I know he's had injury issues, but this season is the season where I think I sat here on the first one we did of these and said he's a player who everybody should watch. But, there's no excuses for him.
Well, maybe everybody got a little bit over the top with the excitement
of it. No, but in terms of, from a club point of view, to be all in on that and not have another striker like Boydy's saying, that's a fair argument.
I just think, I know that, I can't remember the boy's name off the top of my head, but the boy they spent, nearly £1 million from. No. The one in the summer. He's not really come in and done it either. And Boyle, I think Boyle's...
We can't even remember his name. That's how bad he's
and £1 million. Boyle he's changed his game. You know, he was a winger and everybody thought that's where he was going to be. He's a pest. He goes through the middle and he's caused teams problems. But I don't see him as an out-and-out striker. Similar, listen, I'm not comparing him to Maeda, but it's a bit like, you know, you're a wide player, you're asked to go through there, go for flick-ons.
He's a bit more than a pest.
Yeah, he is, but he's non-stop. He's running about, energetic, getting about, closing people down, a pest type. But even when you look at him recently, I don't think he's been at a level he's been previously as well. You then the right back area for the right wing back. Sorry, we've seen Milligan been moved out there for Hearts. I think for Hibs, when he's out there, they do miss him in the middle of the pitch. You know, Chris Cadden has been in and out of the team as well, so he's, you know, I don't think he's hit the heights that he was at last season. And the other one, defensively, I'm not quite sure right now that David Gray knows his strongest back three. Would that be fair to say?
I think that's fair.
Well, Grant Hanley's been in and out. But so, take in general, though, where are Hibs? Where are they? Squad, team, expectation? When you look at Hearts and what the transformation they're having?
I think part of Hibs' problem is Hearts doing so well. But I just think, Chris touched on it, you go back to the start of last season where Hibs were and the progress which they made and where they're at now. They're not, you know, they've had a couple of, or they haven't been on a great run. But it's not like you don't expect that to change and go back to, you know, them being consistent again. I do. I just think it's, you know, it's a matter of time, and maybe the you know, the sort of squad depth is, you know, is lacking a little bit. But I think Hibs are fine.
How much or how important is the first derby of the season?
Well, you've experienced it as a player, as a manager. You know, it's difficult. And I mean, I know we've been fortunate enough to be part of a huge one in Glasgow, and we always speak about that. But the Edinburgh derbies is as fierce as it come.
I think so. I think, and I don't think
it's not as fierce as.
No, it's as fierce as it comes.
Glasgow.
Nobody said that, but it is.
I think the general perception, like you're showing right there, the disrespect to it is
Why
too
are you
much.
Pointing? Why are you starting?
I'm not just.
Don't know.
There's
a lot of people in Edinburgh pointing at you right now as well.
So
it means if people get offended, I can't help that, but that's pretty factual.
Yeah. Well,
tell us why then.
I think it's got some of the same feelings of hatred, it means so much to their fans, just like it does the Old Firm fans. It does, and that's the intensity of it. I think the biggest thing in Edinburgh derbies was the lack of quality compared to the games aren't great, but the team that normally won was the guys that had the bit of quality in the game, and that'll be important. Being at Tynecastle, I think, makes it'll be tough for Hibs.
What one stood out for you? If you go back through your time
I think my first one was a midweek actually. We were 1-0 down or 1 each, and we won 2-1 at Tynecastle, which in relative terms it was meaningless. We're both 5th and 6th probably in the league, so it wasn't. But in terms of it was my first feeling of it. Obviously, as a manager, my first game as Hearts at interim, we get beat 1-0 at Easter Road, which wasn't nice, but then managed to win one at Easter Road with Shanks with a last minute winner.
What a finish that was.
Yeah. But I definitely think
Hibs dominated that game, I think.
Wow, did they?
If I remember,
no, they didn't.
Hearts broke away.
They played all the football.
Long ball, Shankland to the down, launched it.
As you keep saying every week.
It's about winning.
It's
about winning games.
I won that day.
It's about winning. It's about winning.
So I think it is
Shankland's form back to his best.
See, for me, he's playing with freedom. He's playing without any of that expectation of the 2 seasons he was excellent. The uncertainty of where he's going to be playing, I think you can see that. Against Rangers, it was nearly a perfect performance of hold-up play, link-up play, and as I go back to saying, the right decision-making when you get the ball.
Well, it always helps when you can use your hands.
Well,
he nearly caught it.
Yeah. So it's a big one. But I do think Hearts are favourites.
A lot of people, I mean, you've obviously watched him. A lot of people speak about Lawrence Shankland. He's that out and out number 9, but he's got more to his game.
As he's got, I first came across him as a player with Scotland, and he was like yourself, goal scorer. That's what he is. He is much more than a goal scorer, and I think that's came over as he's got older. His intelligence, his awareness. It doesn't look as
was he always that player, or has that
No, I don't. I didn't see that the Scotland camps. No, it's a small time you're with him and that. But even in his play with Dundee United and Ayr United, the link up and the hold up play wasn't anywhere near as tight and crisp as what it is now. I know loads of people going on about, oh, he was playing number 10 and that was why he was. He's a really intelligent player, so he plays in spaces that's on. He gets in the box when he needs to and he can score. His goal against Aberdeen that got chopped off, what a strike that is.
Yeah.
Dropping into the pocket, getting turned and scoring. So he's matured with age. I think comfortably knowing where he's going to be has helped him. And him and Braga seem to be linking up a good partnership. Two strikers, as you talk about.
I know we touched on it earlier there with the Hibs back three. Looking at it, do you expect Grant Hanley to... I mean, I kind of looked at it. He hadn't played a lot. I thought, I was thinking myself, maybe he couldn't play 2 games in a week. But I mean, David Gray, he's changed it quite a bit, which was a steady back three as well. He needs to get back to just finding a formula that is able to be resilient and get Hibs results.
I think it depends on their shape. If I'm honest, at times in a back four, Rocky Bashiri was excellent.
Yeah.
Second half of the season in a back three, I think he's vulnerable in a back four, and I think that's. Probably David's
why do you think he's vulnerable in the back four? What's the difference?
He's a bit more exposed. There's more space round about him. He's not in that one that's generally not picking up. He's reading of the game and he's getting across as good. He's got a good bit of pace. But when he's got a decision to make and he's not got that cover, or he is not that cover, that's where mistakes have been made. That's where goals have been conceded at times. I think Grant's still an international that his performance against Denmark was excellent.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure why that is, but I would expect Grant to play in the derby in that magnitude of game.
Right, that's enough, Edinburgh. Let's get back through to Glasgow. Is this season the last dance for Brendan Rodgers, Tom Ford's?
Is this season Brendan's last? Yeah, I think it'll be Brendan's last season. Yeah.
For what reasons?
Why do you sound so...
Just because it's great job, get the chance to be in Europe, get a chance to win titles. Yes, he's done that.
He hasn't been offered a contract yet.
Yeah, but is that strange in itself? No,
that is. But no, he said he'd do his 3 years, where I think people were talking because of the sort of fallout which has been at the start of the season, players or Brendan not getting players in as he would have liked, that the possibility of him walking. I didn't see that because of the way he left last time, but I think
could you have understood if he did though?
No,
I don't think it was like the last time.
I never saw it that way because of what he said.
I agree.
So, and also, with respect, he's probably looking at Rangers, the mess, what's going on across the city, and thinking, blimey, even though I've not got what I really want at Celtic in terms of players coming in, we can still
could that not be it for the next? Could he not just win trophy after trophy for the next 2, 3,
4
years?
and Celtic's issue will be, well, okay, well, if Brendan ends up leaving, well, who can we? Well, not where does it? Yeah, who's going to come in and be a better manager than Brendan's been? So that's that's.
You're going to dust the pro license back down?
Listen, I'm available. I mean, that's
get the Val Sports. The
thing is, the big question is, for a good partnership, would you take me with me?
Depends on your wage. Depends on your wage demands.
You'd have a field
I would
day.
work for you for nothing, mate. So you now got a dilemma. Would you take me with you? Me and you in the sidelines at Celtic Park.
I don't see why not. You or Tommy Johnson. You or Tommy Johnson.
Interesting. What do you think?
Oh, you did that duo, weren't you? Imagine you two in the dugout, man. That I would love to see that.
What about? Come on.
No. 1 second. There's obviously been a big, I'll use the word political with Celtic in terms of the board and the manager. Now, do we feel as if we're getting to like?
I think you can't criticize.
Yeah, but you can't criticize. You can't criticize Celtic the way they have, the way it's worked for years. But do you feel as if this cycle is coming to an end, the way it's been operating?
What?
To your hint, it changed.
And do you think? I mean, the Celtic fans. I mean, I don't mean in the past. It might have been a case of this.
You've never seen it like it is just now, have you?
No, I mean, it'll start winning games, and all of a sudden it'll calm down. It's not going to calm down.
It's going to go. Well, it is. So it's going to go quiet. The fan protests, I think, will carry on.
Yeah,
but I think we've got to wait till January, really. January's going to be the key month, isn't it, to see what happens in January in terms of the number of games coming around. I think Celtic got 20-odd games, whatever it is. And Brendan will no doubt continuously be asked about his future. But I think he can just bat that away. It's what happens in January
So who makes that call, though?
In terms of recruitment.
Who makes the call on the new contract?
Well, first of all, he has to be offered one, and then
but that's what I'm saying. Who makes that call?
And then there'll be, of course, there'll be all, that'll be how Brendan sees it at that particular time. Is he, has he had enough backing at key times, which makes January an absolutely pivotal month, really, in terms of what goes on.
Did the Celtic board just fold to the fan pressure and say, right, we're going to go and spend X amount of money, knowing fine well that the person who you're spending the money for is not going to be there if you're not going to offer him a new contract?
But you used the word fold there.
That's what it'd be like, because I've stood.
But it's not. It's about doing the right thing and giving yourself the best opportunity, isn't it?
If the model's the model, the managers are irrelevant in this. Because if he goes, the new manager comes in and works under the same. So whether you're buying players in January, it's probably with a longer term view.
Yeah, but I think that's where there's been the breakdown. Because there's obviously me looking at it. I don't think Brendan Rodgers has been happy with some of the signings that's arrived at Celtic. And the Celtic board have made it quite clear that Brendan Rodgers is in charge of the signing policy. There is people probably in the background getting away with it.
Well, that wasn't strictly what was said, was it? What? So how
Well, I think when you look at so the players you bring in, and we backed it a few weeks ago. If you go back to Ibrox, what's the striker?
You're not going to bring in your Engels Bingo.
Yeah,
and Trusty Bingo, and
that one works as well.
Bingo.
That one works
bing,
as well.
Bing,
When you've spent what is it, north of £27 million, and none of them play. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think he's getting away from it. Like you talk about, Rodgers, the contract. Why is he not been offered one now? Do the board really think?
I wouldn't be surprised. Why? I wouldn't be surprised if there was something on the table not so long ago, and now it's came to a head. There's obviously Brendan Rodgers obviously doesn't get on with.
This is all massive speculation on both your parts. Okay, let's get back to the Edinburgh derby.
No.
What's your prediction?
You dismissed that.
I'm dismissing everything you say.
It's now becoming a bigger game in your mind.
You're just making stuff up.
I just want to know a question.
You are making stuff up. Let's get back to the Edinburgh derby.
Why have they not offered a contract? That's the one part. That if he's your manager you want, and he's the manager that's been successful, why have they not been offered the contract when you've got less than a year left?
I'm scratching my head as well.
But you're a Celtic man. You must have some intel.
Connections? Intel? No, I don't. I've got no friends. I've told
you
that
that
before. I've told you that before.
But
the thing for me, if you've got an elite manager, there's no doubt Brendan Rodgers is the best that Celtic are going to get. Why would you not want to tie him down in a longer term contract? So that's what I'm saying to you. For me, personally,
I think it's a me. I mean, this isn't. I'm agreeing with what both of you are saying.
It's the why. Why have they not? What reason can you give?
I can't give you a good reason. I don't understand it myself. So you can keep digging me out. You can keep shouting at me and being aggressive, and you can even keep pointing. I mean, I don't mind, but I can't answer that. Right?
You don't want to upset some friends or something. It sounds as if that's the case.
Edinburgh derby, come on then. I know what you're going for. 1-1 draw.
I've said I think Hearts are favourites, and I think Hearts.
Yeah, but you would say
Hearts at Tynecastle.
Yeah.
Don't think Hearts at Tynecastle. They won last year, did they? Hearts?
No.
But I think there's a different feel about Hearts. Lots changed inside a year at Hearts, hasn't there?
I wasn't sitting here a year ago.
What's changed inside a year? It's crazy.
Very cutting. Yeah, nasty.
It was your two doing that got me the sack.
We're still getting to blame, mate. Oh my day. I can't. Can you remember reading that?
Talking about manager sackings, who's under pressure for you at the moment?
Who's not?
Well, I'm not. Everybody's under pressure after 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But
where do you want to go? God, my favourite club, Aberdeen. They're under massive. Listen, the whole Jimmy Thelin, the whole Scottish Cup thing for me, you just can't keep going back to a Scottish Cup victory and say I'm going to keep going and going and going.
They've also said
you think Jimmy Thelin
abysmal.
You think Jimmy Thelin? I think both of us would agree that Jimmy Thelin
needs a result.
He needs a result or two. We don't need another big rant from you. And Jimmy,
keep the
you
reins on
felt
him.
like this even when he won the cup, even when he was going up to pick up the Scottish
You were
Cup.
doubling
You
down.
wanted him sacked. So
No, I was absolutely delighted with him. I was shouting his name that day. I was
okay.
celebrating that day.
Well, thank you, the two of you, for your opinion. Okay, on just everything.
What?
I've enjoyed this chat.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
been
haven't. But
provoking.
we've got to go.